傲风 M6旗舰 Pro 按摩遮盖小弹腰2.0。3D 云朵枕，空调座舱，立体金素地。
biu biu 是我运营的产品，我想通过它和更多不懂分寸的人一起探索世界的边界。正是这些不懂分寸的人，也许他们不被理解、任性、固执，甚至疯狂。
就是我。
但如果没人去打破边界，谁又能玩透世界呢？
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”。这里有每日的
Hello
直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的
It's time for another beautiful day of the World Team League
以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
Oh, there we go. It's the final week of the World Team League. This is what the rankings look like as we scrap over the final placements in the league for this season. Today, Basilisk take on Berserker in a match where Basilisk will be favoured. Then Platinum Heroes Alright and Offside have a battle over the elimination spots in the league. Might be going on a bit further down the line as well. Checking on that one later on. For now, this Basilisk versus Berserker esports matchup as Basilisk look to just try and lock in up at the top. Berserker, can they cause something of an upset here? It's going to be a rough matchup for them, I think that much. It's very much so just known for sure here across the board. They will go into this knowing that. Basilisk will go into this knowing that as well. Basilisk didn't hold back behind Reno, Cyril and Showtime, the strongest roster they can send out on any given day. Yeah, Berserker sit at the bottom of the league. 5 points they need to win. Right, Berserker would have to win today to avoid relegation. And with a decent map score as well, it's not going to happen. I think Berserker are almost as good as eliminated, but we will see if they can provide some kind of an upset or some kind of crazy kind of scenario or something along those lines. As we just take a couple of moments. Get set up here into Battle B versus Rhino, so some ZVT to start off in these first two games. Oceanborn going to be our opening map. Battle B can be very fun, but I mean, Reno is on another level. I mean, there was that one game in the ESL regionals that time where Battle B gave Cyril a little bit of a run for his money. But yeah, this is definitely a difficult task ahead. No one is going to be disagreeing on that one as we get ready to start this up. Oceanborn, map 1 of the day. How's everyone in chat feeling? Let me know what's up. Let me know how you guys are doing as well. It was good to see you all. As here's Reno as the sound goes silent. as they cut to the players. A little bit jarring, but that's okay. Just let us take the players in all of their glory. As we set up to kick off here on Oceanborn, barracks in the top left-hand side, and Reno can establish from the bottom right corner. Obviously representing Basilisk. Excited to see what he's going to come out with here. Because Reno oftentimes will just kind of be the aggressor in these series, right? He will just say, well, you know, show me you can hold on in the early game first before anything else. Guess we'll see what's going on. What's up, Chess? Thanks for the host yesterday. Absolutely no worries, man. I was saying that when I ended, there was no one really live that I would usually host, so sent the love to a name I recognized. Hope you had a good stream, man. Thank you so much for the 55-month resub. I appreciate it, mate. So much. As our game just gets settled in here. Hatch, gas, and pool all coming about. We get ourselves figuring what this is going to look like. And like I say, to me, it's a question of whether Reno is going to try and come in and get something done, or if he's kind of just happy to let kind of Battlebee do the talking and then just kind of take on the macro game. Don't think that's a terrible idea for Reno. Obviously, like I say, the macro game should be pretty beneficial to him. So we will see just how that pans out over the next couple of minutes. There's a couple of minutes that are going to be, all important and really tell us what's going on as our SCV comes scouting through. And the Reaper is out as well, so it's going to be able to obviously go and pick up on information and tell a little bit of what's going on also, which is always great. Actually going to try and play the blockage on the third base there for a few moments as well, which is always cute. If you can keep that third base from being built, it can slow the Zerg player down a little bit. Maybe force them to take a third base they don't want if they get slowed down too much. It's not necessarily a guarantee, but it is a possibility. So like I say, things do look towards you as we get going. This Reaper will ping a few of the Lings for the moment, just continue to get some damage done. Put some hits out there for now. Let's see where we're going to take all of this. Heads over to the left side. There's a couple queens and the drone moving across. Trying to again see just what else is going on still. A single marine gets to the top side. Just going to go and zone the overlord a little bit. Just trying to make sure nothing happens there. Just trying to make sure everything is kept at a safe distance. There's again a couple Hellions, the link speed, all of that continue to come through. More drones and the queen continue up and about for the moment, so you just bring all of that through. Again, those couple Hellions on the way as well, looking pretty. We do have ourselves the third CC and now a starport on the way as well. Well, the Reaper and the Hellion trying to push forward at the front, just trying to see a little bit of what's going on. Answer is not too much here just yet. So we just get kind of pushed around for a little bit. And those Hellions still on that bottom side. Queens can just sit there and zone the Hellions and the Reaper too, not letting those get kind of get too out of hand or anything like that. Just keeping an eye on things. There is the Overlord moving through, and the Marine is here to help chase that Overlord away. So just trying to stop any information. That'll be on his way to Cloak Banshees. Keeps him very safe in case Reno was being the aggressor. So obviously would have been a big thing to kind of keep an eye on, because like I say, it's not completely against the grain of Reno to kind of be aggressive in a match he's favored in. He is not afraid of throwing those aggressive builds out, almost asking his opponent to prove themselves, that they can deal with the early aggression. And also, I think, knowing as well that he's got the confidence that if it doesn't go well early, he still has the skill to bring it back in a later stage too. So I think the Banshee is a very responsible way of opening from Battlebee, and I think it's a very knowledgeable way of opening, because I think he knows it's not unlikely that Reno could mix it up a little bit, and like I say, it will deter him from, in a second game as well, perhaps playing the Roaches if Battlebee is shown the willingness to open Banshees. Well, so much to think about in StarCraft 2. It's not just the current game you're playing, it's the future games as well, right? What can you set up to kind of see in the series is... Whoa, Falcon Tokaji, how you doing, mate? Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Going to drop 5 in the chat, going out to Eurivian, Killer B 5821, Dat Smurf account, Muck Thofas, and Andy Lena. Thank you so much for the generosity of the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing great, mate. Thank you so much for the generosity and support in the stream today. We're on pushing towards those 500 subscriber count once again. Talking about that a little bit the last few days. We've had Wardy TV events starting to come back. Obviously, Esports World Cup in a couple of weekends' time, but once that's done with, we'll be back on that grind and really bringing a whole bunch of SC2 to you guys. So, did you enjoy? Consider again on that sub-hype train. As for now, our Hellions will keep on cruising around the edges of the creep spread, so just chilling around the edge of creep, seeing a little bit of what's going on, seeing if there's opportunities. The creep is already quite far out. It's already pretty astounding for Raynor to be in such a good position with that creep spread. It's so far forward. He's actually going to show up. You got a few drones pretty much right off the bat, so 4 workers do go down. A victory for sure for Battle B, just slowing Raynor down that little bit, if nothing else. I'm still thinking of poking in around the back, but can't imagine there's going to be too much to really get done in that position. All combat shield is on the way. 1-1 upgrades is still coming through as well. Banshee's going to try and grab a queen. I do love what Battle B is doing with these units. Definitely bringing a decent effort of the aggression now. Definitely trying to just force his way into some fun positions. Into places where he can, you know, potentially get some damage and put himself at an advantage. Unfortunately, he does lose one of the Banshees now, so that will be going down. That's a little bit of a shame. It would be nice to see the Banshees surviving through. Obviously, Banshees, the longer they last, the more you can get out of them, so almost always a good thing to have on the table. Tanks firing. And as the tanks fire up, a few of the Lings going down as well. Not sure Battle B really has too much to be pushing with, but he is actually ahead on supplies, so Battle B is in a better place than you might kind of typically think right from the get-go. Let's see what he can do as Reyno's trying to wrap around the side with some Ling Bane. Reyno up a comfortable amount of workers as well, 81 drones. Reyno is kind of set for the game in terms of worker count. He doesn't really need to do much else there in terms of setting up. What he does need to do is just to, well, stabilize against some of these bigger armies that Battle B can push with right now. If you can make sure that this army supply does not get out of hand, that we can keep that controlled, that's going to be a big step in the right direction. But that will be the challenge in this. As Banelines crash through and a bunch of Marines take damage. I'm trying to fire up for a little bit of extra action as well. Doesn't really do too much there. This is going to try and knock down this hatchery. Let's see if we can succeed on this, and let's see what Reyno does. He's setting up the counterattack. He's also setting up units on the right, but I'm not sure he'll take the engage. If the hatch is going to go down, it's going to go down. There's no point trying to, you know, force a fight when it just isn't there. A couple more Marines spoken about still. Just try and find as much as possible here. The couple of Hellbats going to go stepping forwards. The tank shots still layering out across the board as well. Team melee upgrades still coming in Battle. The 2-2 on the way on the side of Battle B, so we're actually going to have pretty equal upgrades. Reyno still has pretty good creep. He still has a baseline set of 4 bases as well, so his base count is still, in my eyes, very comfortable. As he actually gets a bit of a wraparound here. Catching Battle B unprepared. Some of the tanks not sieged, and obviously that is not great. Going to put Battle B in a bit of an awkward spot as this fight definitely doesn't really go his way. Bane continues all the way over to that far right-hand side. Just going to be setting up here. As we do have Reyno just taking more and more control of the map. That little push back on Battle B right there did a lot of work. Pushed him back into now a much more defensive position, but I don't think Battlebee was really setting up to play all that defensively in the first place, right? So, yeah, I'm going to say that I think Reno has taken a big step in the correct direction for setting himself up here in this game. And to set Basilisk off in the right way in this best of 7. Battlebee's going to try and hang on in here. I mean, again, as a Terran, you can absolutely kind of hold out and stand defensively for a while. That's absolutely something that can, work out for you. So we'll see if that is something that Battlebee continues to rely on here. A little bit of Ling Bane, just going to find a couple Marines in the middle. Knock some of those down. The Ling's going to keep on nibbling now into a set of rocks. The Adrenal Gland's coming up, 3-3 upgrades. Even seen a Lurker Den coming in from Reno. I mean, this is just getting to be better and better and better for him. So this really does look as though Reno is taking full control of this game. I mean, like I said, Battlebee will max out, but I mean, I guess he's on his way now to a Ghost Academy. Siege Tank's on the way. Like, he's starting to do the things which I think are going to be, great for the future. I guess we're starting to get to the point where I really do just feel like this is maybe more playable for Battlebee, but you're playing Reno in a late game. Doesn't exactly bode very well for you, does it? I mean, Reno is a freaking beast. He's extremely good. And the later a game you play him in, the more skill expression he gets to show in the game. And that's something you kind of want to avoid, because Reno showing off his skills is going to be a very bad time for you. And this network back of the natural. That's Reno already just on to force Battlebee to look different places as well, right? Look here, look there. Have to play some different scenarios out. Lightning Cloud's going down with the Vipers available, and this is going to be a fight already that Reno might just be able to succeed in, but his supply dropped off pretty quickly. Turns out that defensive position was still a bit too good. The Ninjas get shut down. Great job by Battlebee so far. This first wave of Reno is going to be managed pretty responsibly. Three upgrades still building on the Evo Chambers. +3 melee, Groove Spines, Seismic Spines, all coming up at the moment. Bane, Hydra still moving about. Obviously, we got the Lurker upgrades continue coming through as well, so already talked about it a little bit, but things are only getting better on the side of Reno. He has a big tech up happening very shortly that's going to be just incredible for him. Should go a long way to helping out. Nice, is still trying to get here, there, and everywhere as Reno looks to push himself onto instead the creep. Obviously, the creep having been pushed so far up across the map is kind of a big deal in itself. As those Lurkers burrow up, just going to go after the barracks. Making our way through those. Valiant's actually going to try and run into those Lurkers. That ain't pretty. They actually unburrow and go to the high ground instead. Probably a better choice, but I feel like the fight was bad enough that Reno maybe could have just sat there and traded out until the Lurkers were gone. I think he would have actually had a very good time of it still. It's just a problem, another one for Battlebee. It takes time and investment to kind of really deal with, and that's the issue. Anytime you get slowed down like this, it just gives the Zerg even more time to establish more control of the map, better positions, better setups. Things will continue to run through. 29 dead SCVs, 31 dead SCVs. As Reno has done serious economic damage, and he's going to bust down the base over here as well, just in case he hadn't already done enough. He's now going to find 43 workers in recent history with the base kill as well, just denying the 5th location and the CC that was next to it also. So, I mean, win-win-win for Reno. Just fantastic stuff for him all around. This really does look as though he's got, in my eyes, game number 1 locked up. I mean, we're 16 minutes deep, but this is just the fact that Terrans are very good defensively, so it can be difficult to end games. Maybe with a Viper or 2 there, those tanks are pretty stacked. Maybe we'd be able to break in. This time we're going to be a bit better at denying the Nidus in the main. But the Nidus in the natural is going to be just as problematic as before. Lurks popping out. Maybe not as many lurks as we had before, so, you know, a saving grace, I guess. You're trying to come down as yo Zergiel, thank you so much for what was that, 10? 10 gifted subs on the channel, thank you so much. Appreciate the generosity. There's some love in the chat for Zergiel. Thank you so much for the generous gifted subs. As I guess we got a moment to shout them out. Going out to Erdnazanoj. My name is Bandit and Javasuko. This fight's starting up. Let me get back to those in a second as Lingbane kind of runs through. I'm going to do what I can. Reno again, I mean, good fights, and at some point here, Battlebee's just not going to be able to afford the rebuild. Jeromeo24 also on the gifted sub from Zergiel. Tim Tome, SV Jalda, GJI4286, thank you so much as well. Getting gifted a sub. Battlebee's going to try one big onslaught across the map. Last couple of Bood Ryan, 1/137, and Kwai. Thank you so much again, Zergiel, for the generosity of 10 gifted subbies. As we do have, I mean, Battlebee trying to push through, and he gets rid of a base, but there's just so much more work to be done than getting rid of a singular base in the grand scheme of things, right? That's the issue. Because in the main base are just going to continue to pick away through the production lines as well. Here we go, Lingbane, Hydra Lurker, just going to go swarming forwards. All the tanks getting blind and cloud. I talked about that a little bit ago with some Vipers. Some of these positions may be very breakable. Reno is going to take game number 1 of this best of 2. And Reno strikes first for Basilisk in the overall best of 7. So Reno off to a fantastic flying start. Yeah, okay, a longer game, but not one that he was ever in trouble in. He was just in a fantastic position through and through. Alright guys, game 2 coming up in a moment. Get this going. It's going to be on Dynasty as we get this settled in. Sorry guys. Jalea, thank you so much for the 40-month resub. Sorry guys, I gotta reply to something. They're messing up my flights for a certain trip that is next week. So I'm just gonna reply to that so they can try and actually get it sorted out because yeah, it's been a back and forth thing. Picking Dynasty is obviously very expected. Alrighty. Hatch gas and pool coming up here on the side of Reynon. And get that up and running. So just going to get that underway as we start on out. The drones coming through, the hatch and everything being brought in as well. Dynasty great map because you get that in-base gold as a Terran, which can be you can harass the gold base of a Zerg, which is why it's particularly good, right? The Zerg's gold can be hit. If you take the gold yourself, they kind of have to go roaches to really be able to put any harass on it, which is not exactly great for them. It's a great map for just taking a very greedy 3-base kind of 8 racks approach. Yeah, this one typically not played by a lot of the Zergs because this is just one of their vetoes. But then in the World Team League, when you get to losers map pick for map number 2, you can go ahead and you can take some better scenarios and pick a map like this one that would usually get vetoed. That's actually going to be a little bit annoying here, trying to stop this drone from becoming the hatch. Going to extract it up again if we need to. I will need to because that Reaper does manage to loop back around once more. That drone becoming a hatch, cancelling it up, going back and forth a little bit. Those fuelings still trying to chase down the Reaper, the Queen there with it. Trying to help out as our Reaper comes back, or drone comes back one more time. This Reaper is still low, but at least we get the hatchery into place. So, hatchery finally getting to go into the right position. Good Queen's gonna sit there, drone gonna move about. Aliens on the way out from the factory. And the Starport moves on over elsewhere as well. So just again keeping things in motion for a little bit. Aliens and our Reaper continue to move around for just a moment or two. Queens are sitting on the front of that third base. Battleby is the kind of player who will play very aggressive on the 3 base and stuff as well, so, you know, considering the map pick, I would definitely, if I'm Reyno, be kind of figuring out what I'm going to do to try and make sure that that just can't happen as easily as this map typically allows for. Obviously, currently choosing to play a Roach style, so that's a step in the direction of what he believes is his way to kind of deal with this. I don't know if that involves him going to, you know, bring the pressure across the map super quickly, or what his plan might be. Aliens continue out back down to the bottom side. You can see the Queen's there. Hellions getting turned away. So that cloaking continue to come up as well. Aliens and Reaper back around to the top now, trying to see what's going on. So we're going to go land on the reactor there. And still on the move. Reaper moving about. Extra roaches coming up as well. Hands to the poking. Roaches turning those Hellions away. He's just going to push those back out for a little bit. Roach speed is coming up. That Roach production continues through. Obviously, flying by to just see what's going on in the Terran space as well. Always looking for as much information as possible over there. As these two Banshees going to sit on the edge and then extract it, taking a few more shots of damage. Banshees on the right side going to go and find a hatchery as well. Just going to go nibble on that for a couple of moments. Gonna be able to find the cancel on it. Battlebee is at that stage where powering up is a factor. Marines is going to get there. Overseer taking a few shots is going to go down pretty much immediately. A few more Marines, etc. join up as well. 2-2 upgrades, combat shield all in production. As here is this Battlebee push. Let's see if Reyno can shut this down. As he's going to come forward with a few roaches, try and land some biles. They miss. Kind of surprised if they were able to hit, to be fair. They were just kind of warning biles. As that bile sits there, Queens gonna hold out. The Banes aren't actually fast Bane lanes. They are coming from two angles though. Just gives the siege tanks a lot of time to hit them as Battlebee sits on the 1-1 upgrades. Reyno is starting to push back this first wave, which I think is a big step in the right direction already. Battlebee will keep the pressure up because he doesn't really have a setup here which is to give much of a follow-up, right? I mean, he is set to keep on pushing off these three bases. That is what he's playing for at the moment. Bio coming around to the bottom. Going to be seeing a couple of those creep tumors continue to come through. Going down already. The bio getting there. Going to be able to do a decent job of it. And Reyno's holding on, not like he's got the prettiest supply count ever. Run bys are very difficult on this map because of the fact that the gold base is essentially an in-base. You've basically only got one access point, which is you can just strike onto the natural location, which is obviously usually walled off and well defended. So another one of the issues in terms of how you play around this style on this map. Marine Bane's going to catch some reinforcements as it leaves, but honestly not that not too much catching out being done, to be fair. As these Banes get chased all the way up, the Lings actually going to combine into an attack with some other units now. They're going to come forward and going to force a little bit of a lift up. Reyno's still down on supply at the moment during this battle. Going to see another tank going down. The bio unit's still moving about as well. Going to see the medevacs loading all up, and they will pull away at least. So those medevacs going to get out of there, just pulling straight on away. Reyno's still trying to set up the surrounds. One thing he's done very well, always looking to at least engage from the multiple angles, and that will give him some of the better fights available. This is currently 2-2 for the Terran and 1-1 from Reyno, so work to be done. Actually, in the end, doesn't surround, but instead counterattacks with these fumes, or at least looked like it. Still uses surround and is going to use that surround now. Turns it around and brings it into this army. Marines are going to get crashed upon, and we are going to see the Roach Ravager closing the distance on the siege tanks as well. Do we have enough to keep going through? Do we have enough to keep this push alive? Vex will put some more healing out. Flying, just going to be seeing a little bit of the Ling Roach Ravager still getting chased away. The few Banelings coming about too. Bio is still just coming across from the upper left. Things coming through. A couple creep teamers getting knocked down also. We're just going to fly into that third base. A few Lings going to get hit. The Bio going to be there to chase those Lings away again. To put a little bit more damage out still. That's the point where Reno now have to kind of deal with a few of these attacks over. You kind of notice, oh man, he's got so many bases. He's got map control. There's creep spread everywhere. This is absolutely the point where it becomes probably most difficult for Battle B, unfortunately. The map is covered in creep. He does get to a fourth base, but that's his main base relocated. It was never meant to be like this. Plain and simple, it was never really meant to be like this at all. As corrosive files coming down. Murdervac still getting chased away. Lingbane trying to engage here. We are maxed on both sides, so it's starting to become a question of whose army fares better in these maxed out states. Again, with Reno having so much control, he can kind of pick and choose the fights a little bit as well, which is great. Goes a long way to just giving you the engagements you're looking for. Bulling's getting shot there. The Viper's actually very far forward. Gonna drop a parasitic bomb down. It was actually a fairly slow response to that parasitic bomb dropping into place. The Lingbane Ravager Roach still gonna push through. Siege tank up this ramp is gonna get jumped on as well. Will also get cleaned out here and taken away. So that siege tank no longer part of the equation. The Lings are still there. The Ravagers are still poking. Fire Force will come through and the hatchery will take a few more shots of damage once again. Future upgrades, Lingbane still coming about. We got ourselves another state of this TVZ continuing to establish through. I mean, Battle be definitely able to draw the game as long against Reno here, but again, long enough to make enough of a difference is the question mark. There's a couple of changes going down, and long is not necessarily always the best thing again against Reno either, right? Also a factor. Another parasitic bomb, getting rid of a bunch of medevacs here, tons of damage being done. Bane's crashing through, getting rid of a bunch of SCVs. Looks as though that will be that, and Reno is going to get game number 2. A 2-0 lead for Basilisk at the start of this series, in which they are, of course, very favored. Looking great there. Alright, well, up next is Cyril versus Mixie for some ZVZ. Then we get PvP from Showtime and Gung Fu Banda. Showtime Gung Fu could go a bit long. Interesting match with that one. Showtime can absolutely play the longer PvPs, as can Gung Fu. We'll see what that looks like later. For now, that's ZVZ of Mixie versus Cyril coming up in just a few. And get that ready to go. Get back with this in just a moment, hopefully not too long, before loading into our next game here. Just waiting for this game 3, guys. Get this up and rolling in just a couple. And head ourselves into more StarCraft 2 action today. Yes, Cyril is up next. And Mixie, another the Finnish Zerg's actually usually pretty good friends and talkative with Cyril. So I don't think anyone likes meeting up against Cyril, but it does make a little bit of a talking point for us. I'd imagine Mixie has learned quite a lot off of Cyril in that Finnish scene over the years. Mixie, that player who's been knocking at the door of kind of a lot of the top players, but not quite establishing himself as one of the consistent top players there. Well, here in the European StarCraft scene. But he can definitely put up fights, he can definitely cause some trouble. Here is Cyril. His elo goes up and up as he plays. No surprises there. We all know that is pretty much par for the course. As a casual viewer, you've got a question. Why do you not see Valks for Terran? Are they just meta bad? What's a Valk? Oh, where's Mixu at? Mixu's out of land, man. Mixu went to a full-on convention to play against Cyril today. Yeah, there are things that can transform the Vikings. You see Vikings when they're useful, just you only need to build Vikings when there's actually stuff to shoot, right? So in TVP when there's, you know, Colossus, and TVZ if there's Broods usually is the only time. Sometimes you can make a view to zone Vipers. They're pretty good at cutting and just kind of playing kind of anti-ads, just you don't always end up in situations where you need to play anti-air, you know? Would I guess be the the answer. I mean, Vikings are bad. It's just, yeah, you don't need them a lot of the time. You wondered why they weren't producing TVZ to hunt queens roaming? Because they're not good on air to ground. I mean, if you land a Viking, it's just going to get killed. Like, roaming queens can probably fight against Vikings long enough for a few lings to show up and just to kill them or force them to lift off. So, Vikings are also very expensive. It's like 150 minerals for a Viking. So they're just not worth building over other things. Let's just have a couple of matches coming about. Gonna be seeing that queen's coming up, getting set to go. The floaters, the overseers. Oh, you mean to go hunt overseers? Yeah, I mean, again, sometimes you do actually build one Viking early game just to kind of hunt overlords around the map, but overseers can actually just outrun a Viking if they get overlord speed. So yeah, I think honestly you do. It's just not worth it a lot of the time. Like I say, it's expensive. It clogs up the starboard. You'd rather just have medevacs being built. So like I say, sometimes you build like one Viking and one Liberator. The Viking can go overlord hunting. It just really depends on the build order. Usually when your starport comes online, you either want to build a medevac to go harass with, or you want to start building a lib to harass with, or you want to go and TLDR build something that's better to harass with out of it, or get it ready to start building medevacs, because medevacs are actually really good and really important in the matchup, right? So yeah. The answer is kind of, you do see them, but just basically in low numbers, 1 or 2, and then any other time, it's just, they're just too expensive to build en masse until you really need them en masse to be a part of your army. Rotron coming up, 5 more drones on the way through. Let's see, those things actually going to come for a wraparound here. I haven't really talked much about this ZVZ, but this is Serral, who is going to strike first. Getting these queens grabbed is a major play from him. And he's going to have roaches behind this as well. This is maybe just over, actually, for Mixu, as Serral comes across and kills Mixu very quickly and easily there. Well, can't really add much to that. Yeah, apparently just did not see this coming, and that is that. Okay, cool. Well, I really managed to talk about that ZVZ in a great way, didn't I? Good job. mean, to be fair, I'm not surprised that Mixie tries something that cuts some corners. I think that's a completely fair way to try and play against Serral. But obviously just backfires from here. I really wonder where Mixu is at. I wonder what event's going on. Is there assembly this weekend or something? Somewhere Asus ROG also? Is that even a tournament still? Nope. I have no idea. Alright. We're going to go into the map pick of Mixu here after game number 1, which is going to be post-youth. Let's see if he can use that to give himself some luck against Serral on this one. In base expansion, so maybe some room for weirdness. Feels like it's going to be tough to take out Serral here. But we kind of knew that going in. We'll see Serral win this series 2-0, and this overall series is already decided. Then it's just a case of playing the last 2 maps for some map score, and there's some prize money per map as well. Difference also. See if Mixu has a better plan for this game. Something that can work a little better for him. Chasm pool coming up, a couple of drones on the way as well. We continue to get that on the go. And we see that overlord production continues through as well. No surprises, getting away from supply blocks. Couple queens on the way out. Everything is very standard so far. There's not really much to say about this game at this point. Just waiting to see what the styles are going to be. Currently link speed on the way from both. Mixu mine slightly less than Serral at this point. That could mean that Serral's looking for something aggressive again. Get that gas banked up early to make play with it. Could be a factor, could be an idea. Definitely the kind of thing we're going to keep our eyes out for over these next few minutes. He's going to hit this hatchery. I'm going to take some damage. The gold base on the way up from Serral has a third, so there you go. Serral's going to be the one inviting some weirdness in this game because he says, hey, look, I'm going to have a gold base. You're going to come and try and do something about that? I mean, Mixu is doing the same, so they're both just going to go gold, so I guess they're both going to invite this idea of playing from there, and that means you're going to have to be very active on the map, right? You have to be very active on the map. I think this is going to come over, just going to try and get this hatchery already, just jumping onto it. You see this hatchery actually going to go down, so that's already Serral getting the better end of things here. And again, Serral just doing things a little bit better than Mixu, unfortunately, at this point. Is going to keep Mixu in a difficult spot. Looks like it's going to continue to come across. A couple of Banes. The Roach is still coming through. Gonna see that one Bane still trying to come up the ramp. Couple of Lings, couple of Roaches, the Bane coming through. All is getting settled in here as our Lings continue to come about as well. Having, obviously, at this point, Serral being up a base is just a magnificent position for him to be in. A great place for him to play for at the moment. Do you know where you can find the replay pack of Team League? Team League doesn't do replay packs. We're not even allowed to cast in games, so we can't even give out the replays ourselves. As Mixu comes across the map, even bringing Queens here. To me, this is a push that's doomed to fail from the very beginning. Unfortunately, it's exactly how it goes for Mixu, as Serral takes the 2-0. I could say easy peasy, but that's just Serral doing Serral things, looking a little bit better across the board in the matchup. And that ZVZ makes up for what was a little bit of a longer ZVT initially. Well, Showtime versus Gung Fu Bandit. I'm going to be coming up next. It's going to be PvP. This doesn't decide the series at all. This is very simply for a little bit of map score difference on the day. So we'll see how this goes. As it looks as though we're already going to start getting into it. It's not even that much downtime necessary here as we get this one straight up and running. Alright, we're going to go straight into this. This is replays, I think. There's no player cams or anything. So we'll just get straight into the PvP, guys. I'll just run 1 minute of ads quickly, just to help us out between games and stuff. Just gonna see ourselves the gateway coming up at the front. Just gonna get that on the way up. But bringing that through, getting things established for these early stages. Seeing where things are gonna go over the course of this. Proby chasing Proby around for a little bit. Attempt to see what's going on. Yeah, Probe chasing Probe. Obviously Zealot here, obviously playing that kind of blocking game as well, just trying to stop the opponent from expanding. Interesting enough, Side Delta and Kung Fu Bandit does not go low ground gateway. On a map with a ramp is obviously very uncommon. Usually this is low ground gateway central. So to not see that being the choice, definitely a little bit weird and a little bit interesting. Has piqued my interest as to what the heck the plan is going to become. Given a little bit of time now. That keeps moving around. Couple stalkers are going to be nearby. See those actually chasing that depth for a second or so. Rockle just going to come out on the Chrono Boost. The Warp Gate is still on the way up. Sentry is on the way out. We just continue through with that for the moment here, so just continue to bring that all into play. Just gonna have ourselves the couple more shots coming about. Again, that Oracle coming through towards the top side of the map as well. Continue to get that on the go. Oracle activating and Sentry just about able to scoot away from there, so does avoid trouble in the end. Could have been a little bit frustrating. And it's a Twilight Council from both players. We're going to see a Twilight on both sides of the map. Always interesting because Twilight is not necessarily the kind of the only go-to in PvP. But when it's both Twilight, you obviously get to see those Blinkstalker versus Blinkstalker games, and that's when the action really does start heating up as well. So a lot of potential fun to be had here in these next few moments. Rose going down for Gung Fu, so unfortunately miss out there a little bit, some damage taken. These Oracles are on the hunt still. They're going to come through and look for a little extra. Showtime is going to have himself that Stargate. Play of the Oracles being slowed a little bit here. Stalkers get there. Hallucination goes down. Certainly Stalker from Gung Fu Banda going to poke forward a little bit, trying to make his way out into the middle. See what we can maybe do. There's a couple Stalkers going to get shot at, so a couple hits going to come through. We've got that blink on the way on both sides. Force Field's going down. Nice Force Field's actually going to catch him a Stalker, but only one. It's not exactly the craziest damage in the world. Plenty more that could be gained here still. Seems like Showtime is scary enough right now to keep Gung Fu Banda backing off away from him. These Stalkers come across and moving over. He's going to be seeing actually Showtime now getting a good chase. He'll make some pickoffs here. Pickoffs like that don't come easily, and getting a few of them back to back definitely going to put him on the right track to success. Now on his way to charge as well as the next step of this. Gung Fu obviously can't save Berserker. By the way, I didn't really iterate it because this was maybe already kind of decided before the day was starting, right? But this is it for Berserker. They will have to re-qualify next season for the World Team League because they will be eliminated and relegated without finding a win today, which obviously now they cannot do. Now it is official that they are going to be eliminated here, rather than just expected, unfortunately. So yeah, rough for them. It was a massive ask, especially when, you know, Basilisk don't go easy on them. Playing Serral is a bit of a statement. Basilisk clearly wanting to just get a nice clean win, pick up as much map score as possible, try and finish as strongly as they can in the league. Remember, Basilisk started this season off very shakily with some losses you wouldn't typically expect of them. A win today with a good map score, but actually just a win today would guarantee them at least second place in the league. So yeah, they're guaranteed at least second place in the league now that they've won. And then it just totally comes down to what happens with Vitality. It is possible that they win like 6-0, then they end up plus 24. Vitality could win like 4-2 is their worst score they could end up, and they would be plus 24. Who won in the head-to-head between Vitality and Basilisk? Basilisk, oh my goodness. So basically Basilisk are looking for a 6-0, and then Vitality, if they go like 4-2, that would be the way Basilisk actually still finished this season in first place, despite the start of the season that was really pretty rough for them. Oh, that's kind of wild. And it's not an easy match for Vitality. They play a Team Liquid, who obviously have Kira and Clem. Man, Basilisk could actually be making a bid for first place in the league. That's crazy. Vitality have been up in first place position the entire season. They've not budged because, again, Basilisk had a rough start to the season. And actual some crazy results there. Didn't really think about the fact that that was even possible. And alas, here we are. So, just something to note, because obviously I mentioned how this game is just about map score, but actually it's got some very important map score tied to it, like I say. If map score has ever been important, this is absolutely one of those times. Stalkers and the Zealot moving about for the moment. I see a mass of Stalkers from Gung Fu heading down to the bottom side of the map, getting into position over here. Gonna start pushing up. Gung Fu gonna push in. Gung Fu really trying to get into position over on this side, so it kind of puts the pressure on for Showtime now that you know that 6-0 could actually be so important for Basilisk. Showtime that's going to be holding on for the moment, though. Looking good right now. Still some distance to be made. Plus 2 attack coming up on both sides. So that part of the game is still fairly even, very much so contested. Let's see if that changes at all these next few moments. Server coming across into position. Put some sieges up overhead. The Stalkers are going to clash into one another. Giselle's going to get there. Cannon going to be taking some shots. Cannon will go down. The rest of these Stalkers coming over there. It's going to continue.